We're ready to call. I guess we're ready to call the meeting to order. Monday, September 9th, the Highway Department meeting. Roll call, please.
William Metzinger,
Here.
Martin Vitek,
Here.
Tom Reamer,
Here.
James Schultz,
Here.
Thomas Trudeau.
Here. Approval of the agenda. Move we approve the agenda. Motion by Marty.
Second.
Seconded by Tom Reamer. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Approval of the minutes of August 12th, 2024. Anybody have any questions about them? I guess we need a motion to approve.
Also move.
Tom Reaver made a motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Tom Trudeau. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Is there any public comment?
Nothing registered.
This is Gary. Your screen's not showing, but I guess that's fine. All it says is Matt Erickson on the screen.
Yeah, that's all that's up there,
Okay,
I guess.
okay. But I do have a question, and maybe this is out of order, but Matt, on County F, a few weeks ago, somebody came along and grooved a bunch of grooves into the pavement. Do you know what that is?
No, where at?
All across, anywhere by my place and north or east and west, they came along and they ran up and down the road and they grooved a whole bunch of. They almost look like somebody was routing out a seam, but they're like snakes.
Yeah, I gotcha. So we went through and routed out the cracks. We will be coming through the crack seal that yet.
Okay,
We're just a little short on people. We usually do it all at one time, but because we're short on people, we did that ahead of time.
okay, because I noticed it and somebody asked me and I said, well, I assume those are going to be sealed, but I said, I don't know, because
Yes, yep.
Good. Thank you very much. Now I got an answer for him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No other public comments? Then we'll move on to reports and updates by the highway commissioner.
All right, so employees, we hired, I told you last time we had offered to a Josh Potvin. He did start 9/3 the day after Labor Day. So he is on the crew, so we are at full staff with full-time employees right now. Any questions on employees? I mean, that's all I have for that. Otherwise, I'll move into work schedule. We've been doing a lot of crack sealing. As Gary just mentions, because we didn't have a lot of summer help and we're there, they are gone for the year now, back to college, most of the couple we had. For the crack sealing, we've been going ahead and doing some of the routing that it cuts down on a couple guys when we do the crack sealing, so it just helps out that way. We're doing that. The last couple of weeks, we've been changing a big culvert up on County Highway C toward the Wildcat end there. That did get finished. The install was finished late last week. We are up there doing another small culvert just to the east of that today. That should just be a one-day project. Then we'll be looking at paving them back in probably a week or 2 weeks. We'll let them settle for a little bit here and then we'll pave them back in. The Hudson Bay Dam, we did repair that road and we have the dam pressure washed. Just supposed to get a sign here one of these days. We have to get a sign up, a dam sign. That is ready for inspection again now to see. That was the big thing, is to get access to it and get a road in there, so that is completed now. We were out on County Highway H. We had a pipe that kept washing from the shoulder. It was very short, so we added about 8 feet onto it just to make that shoulder so it doesn't wash out. But yeah, in the last month, mainly it's been crack sealing in that culvert job, so Upcoming, we're starting to think about getting our trucks ready for the winter. Hopefully winter holds off for a bit yet, but it could start anytime. We do have two larger size culverts to replace on 112 yet, one kind of by the Richardson farm there and one just north of the Anderson farm. Then will be, I think toward the end of September, we're still waiting for the culverts to come in yet. So as soon as they get here, we'll be doing them. Crack sealing, we got some more crack sealing. The guys are actually down on N today. They'll probably be heading to F shortly after N is finished. We're gonna be looking at our budgets for brushing, especially the state highways. See where we're at on our yearly budget to see, we'd like to do some more brushing, and it's generally, we start that in October, so. Haven't finalized that, but we're looking at that. Out on County Highway H on Madeline Island, there's getting to be a lot of dead trees, big dead trees. A couple areas in particular, but kind of spread out, a few here and there spread out, so. We're gonna be spending some time out there with the crew, probably be out there for a week to 2 weeks, taking down dead trees, so.
What are they, mostly pine trees?
They're mostly pines, yeah, a few poplars, but a lot of pine, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one area there just north of the airport where it's a quarter mile and there's probably 100 of them. I don't know, there's a lot of dead ones. So I do need to contact the landowners there. Some of them are on the right of way, some of them are just past the right of way, but when they fall, they'll fall right on the road, so. Then we end up paying the town to take care of them and overtime and all that, so I'd like to get them taken care of before they become a problem.
How many guys are gonna be there?
I would guess we'll have 3 to 4, probably one to help to watch traffic and 2 to 3 to cut the trees down and chip them and do the work.
Is there any erosion on the island that we had filled in before and now it's coming back?
You know, it's actually doing pretty good with the water level being fairly low. It's looking really good right now. We haven't been having a lot of new issues out there with the erosion. We will be talking about the County H project coming up here on the discussion items, but
With that many trees, is that all manual labor of cutting and?
so we'll cut them down by hand.
Yeah.
We'll probably bring our skid steer out with a log grapple if they're
Oh, yeah, yeah.
good enough shape that we can get them into the chipper with that. Some of them are probably dead enough that I don't even know
Mhm.
if that'll happen, but the skid steer will be there also to clean the road up because I expect them to explode once they hit the road, a lot of it.
Oh, yeah. Years ago, we had some land up there we wanted to clear and it cost more to get rid of the trees than anybody wanted to pay for them, so we just. Junked.
Yeah,
Nice pine.
okay. So that's my basic update on work schedule, upcoming.
Any questions for Matt?
If not, I'll move into the construction update. The State Highway 137 project, some of you might have noticed that's been dragging on for a while. It's was supposed to be a fairly quick project. They had just like 4 culverts to do, then they were gonna mill it and pave it. They ran into some contaminated soils at the culvert sites, so that took a lot longer to get them changed. And then when they went to do the mill, they started going through the asphalt and they did some more testing. They thought that the base was not thick enough gravel base and asphalt, so they changed the project to a full pulverize and then a pave. So, and product will be a lot better, but to get that whole change order process through the DOT took a long time. I have received a few different phone calls from some of the residents out that way complaining about potholes and the road in bad shape. When I get them, they forward them on to the project managers and they have been getting resolved, but it's taking much longer than was first anticipated. I believe they're supposed to be paving here this week or shortly if they haven't started already, so. US two, that Stunts Avenue project, that's a city project. They did the water and sewer, and then they're also adding that section of Stunts Avenue. So that lane closure, I talked to the contractor this morning, that's anticipated to be through next week. They're putting a kind of a center concrete median in there, which I don't like. I did not want them to do, but they did anyway. So there's gonna be a center median and then a turn lane there and another turn lane off the other from the westbound, so. They're hoping to finish that up, the road portion, and get that lane closure out of there by the end of next week is what they're shooting for.
I see when they did the south side there, you know, that's done,
Mhm.
basically. Boy, there's a lot of concrete under that,
Underneath there.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, when the new, what we poured in there,
Mhm.
and then blacktopped over, I mean, I'm talking probably 6-8 inches of concrete.
Okay,
They I didn't realize that's ever made that heavy.
yeah. Yeah, I suppose US two is built
Yeah.
for, it's got a higher standard. than
Well, a
any
lot of
other
truck
highway.
traffic,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep. US two at Fish Creek, that'll be in the Bayfield County side. Is planned for a 1-day road closure. They're gonna reroute down 137 and the Fish Creek Bridge approaches, both bridges, they're gonna pave them, mill them out and pave them. They're a pretty good slap and they're kind of a plow catcher for us, so. Not unsure of that date yet, as of just is waiting for 137 to get finished up, and then we will work with Bayfield County to do the road closure part, and Northwoods will do the mill and the pave on them bridges. Our County Highway GG paving project was supposed to start last week, has not started yet. They're telling me they will be starting next Monday, the 16th, on that project. Tyler Avenue Bridge in Mellon, the abutments are all done. They will be pouring the bridge deck this week. So that will have to sit for a couple weeks to cure, and then I suspect that bridge will be open toward the end of September, early October. Just a quick on the post office, we had filled out a lot of paperwork on that. They did a kind of an environmental review. That person had given me a call and said it's looking good, that she was going to approve it for a site, and that's the last I heard. I don't know if Dan is on. I don't know if he's had any other updates from the post office lately. That's the last I had heard, is that the environmental person was fine with the site and moved from there.
No, Matt, I haven't had any other updates either.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully they get on the ball, because we're getting it well into September. If we're gonna get the site work done there, be nice to have it done September or October at the latest, before winter starts to move in on us. So that's all I have for construction. If anybody has any questions on that.
Yeah, you mentioned contamination on that road there. Can you relate to what exactly was the problem there on that 137?
I don't know exactly, but I actually think it was, I believe it was pretty minor, but I think it was the old road base was, if you remember way back, the old oiled road.
Yeah,
I think it was some of that.
Yeah, could
It
very
was-
well be.
Yeah, they had to remove that soil. They hauled it to well, it used to be Ashton Construction Yard. They covered it, and then they were hauling it to some disposal site from there. But yeah, I believe that's what it probably was, but I never did hear
Would
further
make the
than that.
most sense, yeah.
Yeah. There is planning to be a commissioner committee meeting, a regional, it'll be in Barron. I don't have the exact date yet. I think it's gonna be October 24th. Any of the committee members here are welcome to go down to that. It'll be, usually there's people from the DOT there, some elected officials. TDA usually gives a talk. I don't know, sometimes the secretary of DOT has been there, I don't know, I don't. If that'll happen, and if you've heard, our. Secretary resigned and went to UW, so we have a new one coming on board, I can't. Remember her name off the top of my head. So whether she would be there or not. I don't know, but. That. It's tentative for October 24th. I may or may not go there. We do have a vacation scheduled for that time that week right now, but we're thinking about changing it to a different time frame. So if I'm here, I plan to go. If I'm on vacation, I won't be, but if anybody's interested to let me know, and you know, if I'm going, you can definitely ride with me if I go, but otherwise you'd have to get down there on your own. So I will send out more details on that when I receive them, of the agenda and the exact date, but I believe it's October 24th. So that is my report.
Any questions for Matt? Then I guess we'll move on to approval of the 2025 Highway Department budget.
So in the packet here, we have a few different things. Starts with this summary. This is something new this year that Dan had asked for. Just it gives a summary of how many people work for the highway department, which, you know, we're actually at 16 full-time. We shoot for 4 summer help. But it gives a breakdown: 1 commissioner, 1 patrol superintendent, 1 office manager, 1 shop superintendent, 1 foreman, 1 mechanic, 10 operators, and 4 summer help. We're not asking for any change in positions for 2025. Says goals for 2025, come up with a goals. One of my goals is to be fully staffed with summer help. Without summer help, our department, we really struggle, especially with crack sealing, to get it done. So I'm gonna work on it through this winter and really do some extra advertising, maybe hit the schools, try to find that summer help position that we need to, that 4 positions. So
You say they gotta be 18?
they do. You know, we've discussed that over and over the years, but essentially, even to run a lawnmower, you gotta be 18 years old. It just, it's a kind of a gray area, but it would just, we'd be cutting it close on what they could actually do around here. So
In a perfect world, how many with summer help would we need?
4,
Okay, so we got 4 this year.
we did not, we had
2.
We had 3
Oh,
and none of them were.
there was about, I don't know if it's even an equivalent of 1, so. So yeah, it was not a good situation.
what's that FTE stand for?
Full-time equivalent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, full-time equivalent. So on the bottom there, they ask for service volumes or other performance measures. So, we just put there's some historical data in there, hours of plowing snow, that's state and county highways together. So in 2022, we had 3,887, 23, we had 3,545. And to date in 24, we have 1,504. Salt usage, and this is tons, that's for county and state highways. With the bulk of this going on the state highways, we use very little salt on the county highways, salt sand, but so in 22 we had 3,324 tons, 23 we had 3,342 tons, and to date this year we have 1,531 tons. Salt sand usage, this is county and state highways, but the bulk of this goes on the county highways. 22 is 2,247 tons, 23 2,249 tons, 24 1,035 tons. County highway patching hours, 22 is 147, 23 was 188, and to date in 24 we have 109. Pounds of crack seal used. I put this one on, it kind of ties back to that summer help. This year, we didn't have a lot of summer help. Last year, we struggled also. In 22, I believe we had we were better staffed. So in 22, we had 161,250 pounds of crack material. In 23, we had 78,930 pounds. And this year to date, we had 78,630. So we're gonna do a little bit better this year than last year, probably because we're gonna still crack seal for a couple weeks yet, so we'll use some more poundage, but. The next one is county highway maintenance expenses. In 22, 763,155. 23 was 586,930. To date this year, we're at 338,920. Machinery revenues, 22 was 1,117,539. 23, it was $1,214,092. This year, we don't have that available yet. Hours assisting other county departments. In 22, we had 402 hours, 23, 560. And then 24 to date, we're at 260 hours. So just some performance metrics we picked out to show, you know, the highway and finance committee, some of the comparisons of what we do.
Has your budget gone to the finance committee yet?
It is submitted to them. It will be looked at on Thursday this week, 2 p.m. Thursday is the next finance committee. So.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
I have a question about summer help. When you advertise or recruit, say you have somebody, and I don't care if they're from Ashland or Butternut or Glidden, do you your Glidden shop staff, full-time staff, in the summer they go to Marengo, right? Or Highbridge?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever tell the potential applicants that, hey, if you live in Butternut or Glidden, that you could go to the Glidden shop and ride along with the full-time staff? The reason I ask that is because for a high school student in Butternut to drive to Highbridge, that might be a negative, or no different than somebody in Ashland. But
Sure.
if they could meet at the shop and pool,
Yeah.
you know,
You know, the guys come on their own time. They report to work here, so they're not reporting to Glidden.
okay.
That's
Okay.
not to say that they couldn't meet up with them on their personal time and ride with them. I mean, I think some of the guys carpool at times. Sometimes they drive separate, but sometimes they carpool. So
Okay, so they're not going to the shop, picking a truck up and coming to Highbridge.
they are not. No.
Okay, and that's the only reason I say there might be a disadvantage to a high school student or a college student in Butternut or maybe even Glidden getting to Highbridge.
Sure. I agree with that statement. That it's a valid point.
That could be pretty costly, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. So the next few pages in the packet were kind of just a narrative explaining each line of the budget. I don't know if you guys, totally up to you if you want me to go over that again. We did go through that last meeting, line by line. You remember from last meeting, I told you them numbers were not the final numbers. We were still working on it. They were just tentative. So you tell me, I can go through it line by line or not. It's totally, I mean, a description of them. We can go through it line by line, the request, but if you want a description or not.
What changed? Did you change anything from the last time you did that?
So the numbers could have changed a little bit, yeah. The description of what each line is hasn't changed, but the numbers themselves were not, they were basically last year's numbers, so we finalized them to this year's.
Yeah, just kind of minor changes.
Yeah, there's nothing earth shattering in there. I mean, we can go through the numbers if you want. I mean, that, I think we actually should, but.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When the year is finished, this first report that you gave us, are you going to update that and let us know? Like if there was any changes, how soon is your year that you're?
So the year doesn't get finalized till late, till May or June, the
Okay,
previous year.
okay,
So, I suspect we'll be bringing that back each year with our budget as we are now.
okay. So it takes that long to get
It does,
finalized,
to
okay.
get out everything, that is the wrong one, okay? Marcy says this highway enterprise fund 71 is the wrong page in the packet, I guess. Yeah, it is.
So now, like, if somebody quits, then you probably save money.
Yeah, if we're down a person, we save for that time until we fill it, for sure.
And the only thing is, you don't know what piece of equipment's going to break.
You do not,
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference.
That would be nice to know. wouldn't it?
yeah, we actually
Yeah.
have a loader in McCoy right now. We don't know if it's a pump, it'll drive, but the hydraulics will not work. Could be electrical or it could be a pump, we don't know. I was up on that culvert job last week and just, it quit, the boom quit moving, it wouldn't steer, nothing, you can drive it back and forth, don't even have brake. Brakes that hydraulic, so. Yeah,
So now, if we get a bunch of snow, we got more income.
we do,
So it's, so if we get paid for what we do, and so if we get more, if we have a bad 2-3 months, we'll make more money.
that is true.
To a
Somewhat,
certain extent.
yeah.
The
So-
more you use it, they break down.
yeah, but so with the state contract, we have the RMA contract, which is just over $1 million. It starts on January 1st, so if we plow a lot through January, February, March, April, May, whatever it is. If we plow a lot, then there's not much money to do anything through the summer months. We do very little for the state. If we don't plow a lot like last year, then there's the opportunity to do more summer type of work for the state. So we always get around that $1 million. If we get a really bad winter, we can kind of bump that up, maybe another 100,000, 200,000, depending. But they shoot for that $1 million mark, so whether you get it in the summer or the winter, it's still real close to that same dollar that we do work for them.
Are you finished cutting brush along the side of the road or no?
We haven't worked on it throughout the summer, but that is something we try to get on to into October, November.
When the leaves drop?
Yeah. And, it's a thing in the summertime especially when it's dry, and if it's dry for a while here. We tend to start fires, so we like to have a little bit damper weather.
Yeah.
The blade hits a rock and we'll start a little fire, so you gotta really watch for that, so we don't like to do it when it's too dry.
Cutting that brush later in the growing season also stresses the plant more. And the survival is less than if you cut it like in the middle of summer, so has a chance to recover. Somebody told me that once and it made sense.
Makes sense.
I could email it to Dan and Gary knows.
Okay, thank you. So we'll start with this page, the Fund 21 page. So you'll see the county levy budget request. This year, we're at 517,720 compared to the 24 budget of 475. And that number is totally, the increase is our increase in wages. With everybody getting on step of a wage increase, that's what that figures out to be, from 475 to 517. Our straight transportation aids, we left it the same as of now. We have not received our 2025 numbers yet. Hopefully they're close to the same, but that should generally comes out toward the end of September. Our county debt improvement fund, right at $1 million, which is a fuzz less than last year. That's paying for basically our projects next year, our paving projects and some of the County Highway H grant also. LRIP 235,588. 24, we're at 347, but this is the number for 25, what we will be getting in grant money. And then the federal aid, we didn't have any in the 24 budget, but we have a $900,000 grant for County Highway H for next year. Expenditures, that number 736,151 is basically the same as the 24, couple $1,000 difference. The winter maintenance number 365,998 is same as last year. The county highway reconstruction and resurfacing, that number is 2,696,854, is a fair amount bigger than the 1,491,000 from 24 budget, but that is because of the federal grant for County Highway H. We always try to keep the county highway funding, the county dollars very even. Our gas tax, that state transportation aid, goes off a 6-year rolling average. So we want our expenditures to be flat, so that number is not going up and down. It's consistent from year to year. So when we get grant funding, that does not affect that because it's not county expenditure. So that's why the project numbers will be higher for next year. In 26, they're going to be higher yet because we have a $2 million grant down for Highway GG. So any questions on the Fund 21 budget? If not, we can move into the Fund 71. That's the paper Marcy just passed out. On metallic mine revenue stayed the same at 14,000. The state highway DMA revenues, we did increase that a fair amount, and that number has consistently been around that 200,000+ for the last few years, and we do have some projects in the pipeline for next year. Something we don't know for sure until generally the spring of that year, but we wanted to increase that budget line item to be closer to actual. Our state RMA revenue of 378,000 stayed the same from 24 to 25. Our LFA revenue, that also stayed the same at 100,000. Our RMA state supervision stayed the same at 80,000. Our state reimbursements stayed the same at 172. Our damage claims stayed the same at 11,200. Records and reports 51,000 would be the same as 24. DNR revenues of 47,000, that's staying the same. DNR record and reports 3,000 staying the same. Local government revenues of 150,000, left that the same. Same with the records and reports for 8,000. Other county department revenues 20,000, that's no change. The reports on that one is 1,000, that didn't change. County road and bridges maintenance 1,039,776 compared to last year of 1,333,660. So that's just bump that up just a fuzz to match what we think it will be. County road and bridges improvement projects 2,544,202. That's up over the 24 as I explained because of the County Highway H improvement project.
Can I stop you, Matt?
Sure.
I see this 47,430 on the first handout was 1,663,000. And now it's only 1,039,000. What happened?
It was formula error.
Oh,
There were other things that are in the budget elsewhere that were added in there incorrectly.
Yeah, you gotta. The figuring. We didn't used to have the county department record reports broke out, so that changed things. I mean, in the last.
it's
year
broke
or
out
two.
now.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of trying to figure it out. Make sure it's correct. The county highway record and reports 215,039 is up over the last year 158, but that's a percentage of what we spend. Always, so that number changes when the number grows or shrinks, that number will grow or shrink percentage wise. Sale of salvage material 5,000, we left that the same, and miscellaneous revenue of 10,000, that's the same. So. Just a couple changes on the revenues, the. Improvement project money went up, and then that state DMA, otherwise it's pretty minor. Changes from the 2024 budget. We go into expenses, admin 258. 624 is a little higher than the 247, that's wage increases. Same with the patrol super expenses, 135.04 compared to the 129.56, that's a wage increases also. Radio expense, that is up $46 from last year, 7,046. GPL insurance expense 25,000. That's a big jump from the 7,000 of last year, but that's what we were told by the clerk's office is going to be our insurance bill for next year. I'm not sure, Marcy, do you know why the change, but
They were using, I think, on average, and now they're using actual rates. And so,
so we
So it
probably weren't
changed.
paying our share
Our fair
before,
share.
if they're, because we have a lot of buildings and equipment and more. They were averaging it out, so now we're paying more of that to compensate for our portion. Machinery operations expense 161,485, that's just a slight bump over last year. County highway expenses 736, 151, that's actually came down a little bit. County highways construction expense is 2,544,202. It's higher, as I explained earlier, before because of the County H project. Winter expense 365,998, that's a touch more than last year of 343,660. That number, the county highway expenses in that number, we shuffled the numbers a little bit more to winter from county expenses. State highway winter expenses 426,603, just a few dollars more than last year of 425. Maintenance expense 558, 569, that also is just a touch higher. Road and bridge construction 100,440. It's very close to last year. The other expenses is 10,065. That's $65 change from last year. Township expenses of 154,22. Essentially the same as last year. Department expense is 20,145. That's very little change. And same with the DNR expense, that's very little change, so.
that's basically all the payroll expenses.
Yeah,
Why those are all different, just by a little bit.
so yeah, we came. With that budget, we would be planning to spend 72,707 out of our. Basically, our fund is a enterprise fund that just rolls from year to year. If we have excess funds in it, in year they stay in there and it keeps rolling, so. We would be using 72,707 out of our general fund. Any questions?
Did you actually sell salvage material this year or no?
We We have sold some scrap iron, that sort of thing,
Would
you
that
know.
go to Orange Teams or?
Yeah,
Or Chicago Iron?
yeah, one of the, yep. So, yeah. That, we kind of watch the market, you know, if it bumps up a little bit and we have a bunch of scrap iron, we try to get it in when the prices are better, so.
It seems like I miss the market every time it goes up.
The other page, this page has the current wages and the wage increase with the step for 2025, if anybody's interested.
What kind of was the average percent increase as far as the wage, 1.83,
I think it's 2.5.
Actual wage is 2.5.
2.5?
Oh, it depends on the mix.
And there's some changes with the insurance with the change of staff as well. That accounts for some of that.
We looked at our staff for next year. We don't anticipate any retirements. That's one thing we have to look up. We have a few people left with pretty good size payout coming when they retire. They have not indicated that any of them plan to retire in 2025. But I do 2026 probably.
We need a motion to approve the 2025 budget as presented now. If anybody got any questions before motion's made? And I guess we need a motion. Marty Vitek made a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Jim Schultz seconded it. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you. As I said earlier, that will be going to finance on Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. For final approval.
Moving on to approval of contract for the County Highway H riprap project that be on Madeline Island.
So we finally, as I told you the last meeting, we finally got approval on that riprap grant for shoreline protection grant on County H on Madeline Island. That project has been in the pipeline for some time. It was supposed to get approved last year in September. And it took the feds that long to finally get it to us. So back in June of 23, we created a consultant selection committee here out of 3 members of our highway committee, and SEH was chosen to do the design work for this project. We never completed a contract with them until we finally got final approval. So in the packet here, I do have there's 2 separate contracts. One is for the design, and then one is for construction engineering, oversight engineering. Let's see here. The design. right off the top of it. So the design, contract is for $68,840. And the construction oversight is for $30,980. Which they come to $99,820. The budget in the grant for engineering was $100,000, so we're right at that. What that was estimated at.
Did the price go up from last June when we looked at it?
We did not talk about prices at that time. We did a quality-based selection, so it's kicked off their qualifications. The federal process doesn't allow you to talk about money until after you pick the designer.
They have better lobbyists than we do.
Yeah, seems a bit strange to me to say, yes, we're gonna use you, but no, we'll talk about the money. Yeah.
I guess we need a motion for that, and is that going to be going to the county board or no?
No, that's the committee level.
Okay. And is there any questions? If not, I guess we'll entertain a motion to go ahead and pass this.
I'll move.
Tom Reamer made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Marty Vitek
Nobody else wants to drive away.
made a motion to second these signing these contract proposals.
These guys are all qualified.
They are, yeah.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. We need to get this signed and moving. Need to have this design that has to bid out before next summer, because we have to have it completed, so. They drug their feet on getting us the grant back, but and then it's like, okay, now you have to have it done, so.
Yeah.
So we have to get moving. Thank you.
Use of, moving on, use of 2024 improvement funds for Salt Dome
Share the screen.
driveway. I guess we're going to go for I guess we got the money.
So we had some project savings on GG. It came in under what my estimate was of 160,000 under. So I'm proposing we use some of this savings to fix this apron. There's some pictures in here, and I also have a picture up here. So Trans 277 regulates salt storage in the state. And one of the things is the asphalt or concrete coming up to the building needs to be in good shape. So if there's salt sets on there, when the guys are loading or the trucks drop a little bit, it doesn't permeate into the ground, and we can scrape it and clean that out. We've been trying to crack seal this and patch it for some years, but as you can see, it's not in that great shape.
How old is this pavement?
Yeah.
I don't have an exact date, but I think that dome was built about 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, and it's that old.
Original?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is original.
When would this work be done?
Douglas County can do it either the 18th or 19th of this month. So soon. We plan to have them down to pave the patches in on County Highway C, and we would also do this project at the same day. So
Are there any further questions?
You're just gonna overlay that?
we're gonna dig it out.
Yeah.
We'll cut it out,
Yeah.
take all the asphalt out and put it back in 4 inches thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing,
Yeah,
because there's so many cracks.
yeah, it's
Just in
it's
crack.
yeah. Plus that we can't really overlay it just because of the grade coming out of there, doesn't allow us to go up.
Yeah.
Are there any further questions? I guess we need a motion to pass this.
I move.
Jim Schultz makes a motion to pass this. Replacement of the apron at a cost about $40,000.
Second.
Second, Tom Trudeau. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
Next item we have is future agenda items. Is there anything that someone would like to bring up? Anything that you would like?
I do not have anything at this time. I don't see a need for October meeting right now. We can go to November if you guys are fine with that. We will have to pick a date. Our regular November meeting would be Monday, the 11th, which is Veterans Day, and we do have a holiday that day.
So you are not working?
We will not be working, so,
When is,
if you guys
wanna do
want to
that?
kick it out to the next Monday, the 18th, that would be fine with me. Well, you guys have a county board meeting. I believe that last one in October for the budget is the 29th, if I remember right. So,
Of November?
yeah,
October.
or
Is the
no,
county-
November. October 29th is the county board meeting to
Right.
the final budget meeting. So we could go November 4th or November 18th.
Let's go the 4th.
Okay,
The fourth.
Now, I think I have another meeting, that insurance meeting.
Does anybody else have any conflicts with the date? November 4th? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
9 o'clock?
and here,
I guess if there's anything that someone would like to bring up at the highway meeting, it's to let Matt know sometime in between. And just see if he feels it's worth being on there. Is there anything else that needs to be brought up? Then if not, we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Marty makes a motion. Second by Jim Schultz.
Yep.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried.
thank you.